75 years ago this month, the world learned of the Nazis' sinister plot to exterminate the Jewish people. We know it now as the Holocaust, and with us now is a Holocaust survivor from West Hartford, Gisela Adamski. Mrs. Adamski, thank you so much for joining us today.
My pleasure.
I did some research.
Okay, it's not a pleasure, but...
Well, it's so wonderful to have you with us. And I did some research into your story, and it really, truly is remarkable. And I wanted to ask you, do you think about it every day?
I would say so. I do. It just will never stop.
You went through so much, and I want to give you the opportunity to give us an abbreviated version of what happened, and then we'll get into some details. You were a child when the Nazis stormed your home, correct?
Right. I was 15 when I was deported to the first camp. Altogether, I was in 3 camps, including Auschwitz, and then on the death march.
And
on the death, yes?
I'm sorry, go ahead.
On the death march, I was warned by a Christian Polish man not to go with the Nazis, that they weren't counting really, that I should go into hiding. So 2 friends of mine and I went into hiding and didn't go any longer with them. That was 5 days into the death march.
You were at the Auschwitz concentration camp, and your mother was there with you. What happened to her?
She was exterminated. I tried very hard to go with her, but I was beaten twice and pulled back to the other side. I found out lately that the transport was 1,500 people and only 76 survived. And I was one of the 76.
That is just heartbreaking. And your father was taken away from you as well. He was sent somewhere else, correct?
Yes, yes. We were first in the first camp together, and then he was taken to Auschwitz, from Auschwitz to Dachau, from Dachau to Kaufering, and that's where he was exterminated.
You know what I'm curious about? When you were in the camp, how did you learn about what happened to your father at another camp?
I didn't know anything. We actually never knew where we were going, and that not knowing was very hard for us because we never knew what's going to happen next. I did not find out that where my parents were killed until about 10 years after, when I got notice from the Red Cross I knew more or less where my mother was because I was with her. But my father, they even gave me the time, 10 o'clock in the morning. He died, supposedly.
You later returned to your home in Germany, which was then part of Poland, and then you went to France. How did you get here to the United States?
I got papers from relatives that were living here in 1946. It took forever for us to leave Europe. And we eventually went from Poland to France, from France to Israel. And 10 years later, the papers were no longer valid. We had to get new papers. And we came here 10 years after, in 1956. But we had affidavits from people in Chicago.
Do you worry that people will forget about the Holocaust and what happened because it's been 75 years?
Very much so. That's why I speak in schools and let the children know what can happen when you are a bystander, that you cannot be quiet when somebody is persecuted or killed or whatever. you must tell the story, and that's why I'm doing it. It's not easy.
I know your story has certainly inspired a lot of people. You've educated so many people in your lifetime. Is it possible to forgive the Nazis, the Germans who carried out these atrocities?
It's very hard. It's almost impossible, because we cannot understand how a nation can just stand by and not say anything.
Do you ever forget any part of it at all, or is it still so vivid in your mind?
Not really. I remember different days, and no, I cannot forget.
Sadly,
and I'm now 92.
Sadly, we have lost so many survivors in recent years. And do you have anyone that you can share your stories with who can relate from your experience?
I do. I Again, it's very hard to speak to other survivors. As a matter of fact, here in Hartford, there's hardly anybody left that I know that was in camp. So I don't really have who to speak to anymore, other than Voices of Hope, who are doing a great, great job
Gisela
in
Adamski.
remembering.
Mrs. Adamski, I want to thank you so much for joining us and sharing your story with us. And I hope when this coronavirus crisis is over, I can have the privilege of meeting with you in person and we can talk more in depth about this. You've really helped a lot of people. My best to you and your daughter and your 3 granddaughters.
Thank you so much.
Thanks, Mrs. Adamski. I want to point out the Holocaust Memorial will be virtual this year. You can partake in Yom HaShoah Tuesday night at 7 o'clock on the Facebook page of the Mandel JCC in West Hartford. Finally, our moment of calm as we take you to the great town of Cornwall in northwestern Connecticut. This is a time for us to take a deep breath, sort of count our blessings, enjoy your Sunday. And remember, we're all in this together and we will get through this together. Have a great Sunday.